there is an 80-20 model that you can do where 80% of the candidates, they fit the bill, they have the qualifications, they're fine. You can put them into an automated sequence. Then you have the 20%, the top 20%, where when you see the profile, you're like, yes, and you get super excited, you jump out of your seat, you are like, you're starting to get your hopes up because you're like, I found the perfect candidate. You can't just put them into like a random sequence. You have to go a little bit above and beyond to get their attention.
Initiating becoming a hiring machine sequence in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Keenly, and welcome to Becoming a Hiring Machine. This is the show dedicated to fixing recruitment by going beyond saying what needs to change and instead teaches you how to make that change. Today we've got a great Tactical Tuesday episode ahead of us, but before we get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about the show. Essentially, we have shows within the show here. Some days we have interviews with industry thought leaders and others who are shaking up the space, while other days we cover things like trending topics. Stop by every Tuesday, like today, for a Tactical Tuesday episode where we go deep on how to do something that's going to help you drive better results in your day-to-day. Some days we open up for Q&A, and other days you get a mic drop episode from Matt where he shares something that he's been thinking about within the recruitment space and wants you to know. And as a reminder, if you like the content that we share here on the show, make sure that you subscribe for more. All right, today's Tactical Tuesday. We've been talking a lot about email lately. Best practices, changing regulations, ABCD testing, and so on. And today we're going to be keeping to the email theme, but from a slightly different angle. So many of us have been seeing declining response rates from candidates, especially with InMails. So while it's easy to point to a platform like LinkedIn or a channel like email and say, it doesn't work anymore, like that's not the actual problem. The problem is the playbook that's being used within those channels. So today we have your favorite Tactical Tuesday co-host, Vivien, joining us to talk about different candidate outreach playbook methods that drive some serious results in today's world. And it's give you a hint, it's not the channel that's broken. Vivien, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. Glad to be back.
Oh yeah. So, it's so easy to go online and just see like, oh, LinkedIn's broken. I'm not getting good response rates to my DMs anymore. I sent out 100 emails. Why am I not getting replies? Tell me your theory about this. And this, I think you've come up with a good mental model for how you'd approach this.
Yeah. So everybody started emailing. Everybody is using LinkedIn Recruiter to send in mails. And so it has gotten very cluttered and it's really hard to stand out. And we've talked about this before, but when people receive an email, they look at, do I know the sender? If they don't know the sender, they will look at the subject line. And so the subject line has quite a bit of power. But outside of that, people are tired of seeing very generic outreach that does not apply to them, that has nothing that would say, okay, I actually really need to talk to this person because they have found something that really speaks to me. They have addressed a specific pain point. And when you're talking to candidates, you're trying to find and identify one of the 6 motivators that will get them to make a change. And so as a quick reminder, the 6 motivators, they're called the clamps. It's challenge, location, advancement opportunities, people in the work culture, money, and security. And so it's one of these or a combination of these that will make somebody switch jobs, and you have to hit on that. But even when you are hitting on that, there are some candidates, are absolutely top candidates that get flooded by recruiter messages, and there is others that are great candidates, but not like the, whoa, this candidate is perfect. So there is an 80-20 model that you can do where 80% of the candidates, so those are the, yep, they fit the bill, they have the qualifications, they're it, they're fine. You can put them into a sequence. Obviously, it needs to be a good sequence. You need to be addressing the motivating factors. You need to get their attention, but you can put them into an automated sequence. Then you have the 20%, the top 20%, where when you see the profile, you're like, yes, and you get super excited, you jump out of your seat, you are like, you're starting to get your hopes up because you're like, I found the perfect candidate. You can't just put them into like a random sequence. You have to go a little bit above and beyond to get their attention. So this is where I recommend send a personalized message. Take a look at their profile. See if you can find something in common that is a little bit like fun or playful. A lot of times people actually end up putting some little like personal tidbit into like the About Me section on LinkedIn. Leverage that. See if they have went to a college, they lived in a town that you lived in. Find some kind of like personal connection and use that in the subject line of like, hey, I used to go to this place like right across the college campus that you used to go to because like my best friend was there or something like that. Just say, hey, like really love that about you, but anyways, like I'm actually genuinely reaching out because I have an opportunity. I think you would be a really good fit for this. Then you can jump into that, but grab their attention with something personal that really shows I have read your profile. And obviously that is very time consuming. So you really just want to do this for like the top 10, 20%.
Yeah, so it's the A player tag is what I like to call it. And so you have, yes, there's good candidates for every opportunity, right? And so like you said, put those in the sequence. But the A players, this is where, one, you know who they are, two, they'd be a great fit. Why wouldn't you put your absolute best foot forward to try to get them connected for that role? And if you do it through an automated sequence, like, yeah, it might work, but I want to stack the deck in my favor every single time. And so with that 20, again, you're not taking all of your time on this. It's 20% of the pool, so to speak. Do the tailored message, like you said. And also, it's going to work even better now than it would have a year ago because of AI, because of how many people are automating messages. It stands out that much more as a result of it. So it's like the win-win over here with this recommendation that you're giving is like, not only will it have worked because it is personalized, a little bit more relevant, but it's also going to stand out because so many people aren't doing this compared to the few that may have done it before. And now we're just like, nah, everyone's going into sequence, ChatGPT's writing for me.
Exactly. And you want to stand out because now everybody's doing it. And when everybody's doing it, why should they answer you when they're not answering it to anybody else anyways? So you have to get creative. You have to put in a little bit more effort. And something that recruiters don't necessarily like to hear is that volume is not the reigning king anymore. You have to do it in smaller batches. You have to be a little bit more tailored because everybody is doing it in big batches, very generic outreaches. So as a recruiter, the reason why recruiters are successful is because they're doing something different, they're standing out, and you have to be almost like a trailblazer to be really successful, because when you see all the fish are swimming that way, you got to be that odd fish that swims the other way. And every time that you do this, you're going to be different. You're going to stand out. Candidates appreciate that, and they will reach back out to you because you're different, and something that is different stands out. And that's exactly what you want to do as a recruiter. You want to stand out.
I love it. That's such a good piece of advice. And it's something we all innately know, but we just don't always want to do. I just want my clean, easy little playbook. Just let it run, do the same thing. But if you want, what's the old quote? It's like, if you want disproportionate results, you have to do disproportionate effort, something along those lines. Like, you can't do the same thing as everyone else, expect different results. It's definition of insanity. Yep. But yeah, it's such a good one. So any other final parting thoughts, recommendations, ideas on this 80-20 principle, or just go give it a shot and let us know how it pans out?
Go give it a shot, get creative, put your sense of humor in there. Those are humans. Mm-hmm. And if you sound like a human and show that you're quirky, that you're funny, that you have a sense of humor, or something like that, that human touch is always going to go so much further. And people are going to remember that. And that's exactly what you want.
Amen. I love it. All right. That's a good one. That's an easy one. That's such a perfectly fit tactic for our Tactical Tuesday today, that someone like a recruiter can go and do this today. So I'm so glad you're back for these. It makes my life easier because, you know, I can talk biz dev all day, but sometimes it's nice to have you because you always come in from the recruiter side and you're like, all right, no, here's how it is. It's actually a lot easier. Let's just do this thing. So yep. It's good to have you back on the show, Vivien. And I know that it's definitely got our listeners excited as well. So, all right. Well, as we wrap, Becoming a Hiring Machine is a production of Loxo. If you like this episode, but you're not sure where to go next, we do have a link to a similar one in the show notes, and you can find that in the description of your favorite podcast streaming platform. Full video episodes are available on YouTube. If you ever have questions, send them to us, podcast@loxo.co. And lastly, if you did enjoy this episode, make sure that you leave us a quick rating in your podcast streaming platform. It only takes you 3 seconds, but it's going to help other recruiters like you to find us. So, all right, everyone, that's the show. That was an amazing Tactical Tuesday with Vivien. Until next time, bye, y'all.